Chiefs, brought to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, make your next move a power play with Mike Burgoyne of Real Brokerage Realty. First responders, veterans, doctors, nurses, teachers, and yes, Let's Go Blues Radio listeners get special rates. Visit strikewithmike.com or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com and score big today.
Have you subscribed to the LGB Minute podcast yet? It's a 5-minute weekly St. Louis Blues podcast hosted by Jeff Ponder that is released multiple times a week to fill the gap between Let's Go Blues Radio episodes. Subscribe today.
So awesome, so handsome, so smart, you'll agree. Kurt, Jeff, and Bill are on TV. It's radio on TV. Oh yeah, it's radio on TV.
And from St. Louis, I am Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by a man who doesn't pray, Bill Day. And by pray, I mean with an E, not an A. He does not do that.
I don't either. Except when I'm in goal and I see you give up a breakaway.
It has happened at least twice now with you and that. Oh, completely my fault. But we're not going to get into that right now. Kirk Price is still facing allegations. We're bringing you the often imitated, never duplicated. Now it was serious. A double dog dare. What else was there but a triple dare you? And then the coup de grace of all dares, the sinister triple dog dare. The original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. This is the 12th episode of season 15 and the 540th episode of all time. It is Wednesday, December 17th, and we're coming to you live. Tonight, we discuss the Blues and Jets matchup, the acquisition of, I believe is it Jonatan? Is that how you say his name? Jonatan Berggren?
Not in Trump's America. It's Jonathan.
It's Jonatan. There's no H.
Jonathan.
Jonatan.
Yeah.
Jonatan Berggren. Otto Stenberg's NHL debut. Transactions, beers, all that and more on this jolly episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Of course, I'm joined here by our friend Bill Day. We are coming off. We'll get into it in a minute, but a very good hockey game. Entertaining game for both sides. I think we both agree the Blues played well and Winnipeg did not play their A game. But overall, a fun game to watch, and glad we're finally doing a post-game show where we can talk about a victory.
Yeah, it's been way too long since we've been able to do that. The fact that the Blues are now above the Jets in the standings, I will say I was wallowing in the pity of the Blues' terrible play, not to realize that my prediction about the Jets falling off really was coming true. And I'm validated here tonight as we have now leapfrogged them in the race to hit the buzzsaw of whatever team finishes number one. So,
yes, that's true. Yeah. We've got some comments here. They're not showing up in our chat yet because we hadn't gone live yet. But Trees in the YouTube chat, our hosts are facing allegations of having forgotten they had a stream scheduled. And the Big Beaver says, allegedly, there was a podcast. And then Austin Lynch. Actually, this one is showing up. Trees, this is nothing new. They've been doing that for 7 years minimum. Hey, we went live, 15 minutes after the game ended, right? Was it about 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
That's about normal for us. We never say it's officially. I mean, I know it said 9:30, but the game wasn't even over, I don't think, at 9:30. So we weren't going to go live yet. So everybody just shut up. Cut us a break. Jesus. I hate our audience. I'm kidding. I love you all.
I was going to say, truth is, actually, you have to pay for the immediate post-game reaction. and we have a secret Patreon that is by invitation only. And if you don't have an invitation, it's because you're not cool. So
you're saying we go through the trouble of literally streaming for like 10 minutes before we just stream regularly. That's correct, actually. Bill's not making that up.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. It's not the first time Jeff's heard this.
No, because I'm the one that invented it. So again, we've got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's go ahead and get into it. We don't want to be here, as Bill and I have said multiple times already to each other, we don't want to be here till midnight tonight, as we've got a kind of a later start than normal. Actually, it's funny because this was like our typical start time up to like 2 years ago, and I never enjoyed that. It was always too late. And I'm a night owl, but it's just like, man, I don't want to be up talking Blues till midnight, 12:30, because for me, it's kind of like when I play hockey, I need wind down time. Like I can't just be blah, 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 blah. I'm Jeff Ponder and I talk and I talk and I talk. And then it's like, go to bed. No, I need to like watch a show, play a video game, something like that after the podcast is over. So that is what we are doing now. We're hopefully going to be getting through this a lot quicker than we used to. Official Beers, episode number 540. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Bill, I haven't even poured mine yet, so why don't you lead us off?
I've poured mine and had a little bit of it.
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm going to my number one beer of all time, Founder's Breakfast Stout. It's that time of year. It's dark beer season, and so I picked up a 4-pack of this, and it's pretty well gone. And this I poured right before we got on air, and it's almost gone. So I gotta slow down. What you got?
Sorry, I'm getting a text right now from the artist formerly known as producer Austin. I feel like Jim Edmonds right now. I'm getting a text from my friend Mark McGuire. But no, he says, it's kind of more personal, but thank you for the message, Austin. We can get into that here in a second. But yeah, I appreciate that. So for me, and it's funny, Bill, I mentioned last week when we had Jordan Deacon on, who was awesome, by the way, that my Fat Elvis, I thought I had ran out. And I was going to drink it on the show last week, but then stupidly forgot that I drank the last one the weekend before. But I did go to Schnucks, and I actually texted you too. Yep. And they had, I think it was, what did I tell you? 4? There was 3 or 4 4-packs left.
And I asked the lady, offered to get me one.
I did. And I asked the lady that was kind of working there, I was like, hey, do you have any more in the back? Are you planning on getting more? And she said, as far as I know, we are not getting any more of the 4 Hands Fat Elvis. So I thought about buying all 4, but then I thought, do I really need that? So I got one. I texted you if you wanted me to get you 1 or 2, and you actually declined because you said you still got the ones I got you originally.
So because you gave them to me at hockey, they didn't make it into like my beer fridge in the basement. I come in through the garage to get all my equipment situated and all that after the game. So I just put it in the outside fridge, and I just keep forgetting that I have anything in there. So I will correct that after tonight, because that actually would have been great beer for tonight.
So again, I just realized I am flipped. Let me fix that. Good Lord. They move so much stuff around here all the time, and I always forget where everything's at. Let's see. Where are you? Mirror camera. No. There we go.
Civily. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, this is the Fat Elvis and the new can art, which I appreciate. I do love the kind of like a goblin wearing the Elvis suit. Kind of cool. But yeah, so I am drinking that tonight. I did pick up, and you know what's funny too, and I don't think I told you this after I texted you the other night. So I went and bought some, and then when I came home, there was a 4-pack already sitting in my fridge. And I was like, where the hell did this come from? And so I asked my wife, and she said, oh, I heard you saying the other day to one of your friends that you didn't have any more. And I was at the store, and they had 1 pack left. So I picked it up. And I was like, oh, so now I got 8 total that I need to get through, which typically I'll buy some just to keep, like when I get the pumpkin beer, I'll keep some, and that way I can just kind of have it throughout the winter. But like these, the problem is I see it and I'm like, I want that. And like, I can't not drink it when I see it in my fridge. So for me, it's like, I don't want to drink 8 Fat Elvises in 7 nights, so I try not to buy a bunch at once.
Yeah. Well, that's quite the thoughtful thing for Jess to do for you. So congrats on that.
Very thoughtful. Very nice of my wife to do that. She made up for her mistake tonight. Real quick, I'll tell you guys, and I'm not, she is great. She is an excellent mother. But she's like me and forgetful, and we're perfect for each other. Let's just say that. I went upstairs because I typically watch the Blues games in the basement here, and I got a sweet little setup down here where I can kind of, crank the volume. And I go upstairs, and it's 9:30. Son's bedtime is 9, and it was about 9:35, I guess, when the game ended. And he's just sitting there watching his iPad, and I was like, buddy, you need to be in bed right now. And my wife goes, hey, it's 8:30. And I go, no, it's 9:30. And she's like, what? And then she looks at her watch. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, all right, I'll put him to bed and then I'll go do the podcast. So that's part of the reason we're a little late. So I'll blame me or Jessica. Blame Jessica Ponder. She's at fault.
I'll take it back. We'll just blame the Blues because we typically don't do post-game shows at home games that end at 9:30. So
yeah, that's true. It's very true. I blame the Blues. Yeah, they should have wrapped this game up much quicker.
Started at 6:30.
Well, that and I was going to say they should have just rolled through the commercial breaks in the third period and no whistles, just let them go. But for whatever reason they didn't do that for us. It's kind of BS. But whatever, can't win every game. So real quick, I'll mention what Austin texted me. And real quick, we will talk about this quickly because, like I said, we've got plenty of hockey to talk about. He says, hey, brother, I meant to text you the other day, but congrats on the new pod. I can't wait to listen. And, Bill, I know you saw that, too. Yes. That was also news to you. I actually hadn't shared that with anyone except my wife. So it was news to everyone. So don't feel left out. But, yeah, I am actually – it's an idea I've had for a couple of years. You can watch the video over on my YouTube. It's a teaser. It's a teaser trailer of kind of what I'm planning on doing. It's a show I'm releasing in 2026. It is not hockey related, which is odd. Every podcast I've done is hockey related. This is more comedy related. I've just found that, and especially in my summer interview shows, that the best conversations and the funniest conversations spur in the moment. It's not sketch comedy. It's not things that, like when I listen to other podcasts, like Conan O'Brien's podcast is fantastic. If you haven't listened to it, it's so brilliantly funny. His best moments are when they're not planning on doing something funny. And so for me, it's like, man, I kind of want to bottle that myself. So I'm doing a show where I basically have a random topic generator. It's got over 1,000. I can add to it anytime, too. It's got over 1,000 different topics in it. And I'm going to bring on a random guest. So let's just say Bill Day comes on, which I will have you on at some point, by the way. And we're just going to pick a random topic. It's randomized. It could be something we know absolutely nothing about. And we have 30 minutes to an hour to talk about that topic. And it's going to be weird. It's going to be, what do we say here? But I think once it gets going and once the flow starts, it's just going to be fun. So looking forward to trying it out. Right now, I'm calling it the Pondcast, Conversations That Go Nowhere. So check that out wherever you get podcasts. Like I said, it'll be in January, but I'll probably update this show as well for listeners who are interested, as well as my social medias, jponder94. So that is the only shameless plug I will give my show. But Bill, I do hope you will come on at some point.
Yeah, and you know what's going to happen? The random generator is going to pick hockey.
Every time.
It's going to happen.
Hockey's the first week. Blues second week. Kraken third week, and it says no, stop. I take out all the hockey terms.
You really need to learn what random means.
Yes. All right, all 1,000 topics are all hockey related. Slap shots. How are we going to talk about slap shots for an hour? All right, let's get into it. So first of all, I want to go ahead and top of the show. Very important night in St. Louis and really all the NHL. The Blues celebrated Hockey Fights Cancer Night on Monday. Unfortunately, they lost that game to the Predators, but did want to call out Kelly Chase in this game. So Braden Shen, I thought that was just wonderful. Braden Shen gets in a fight, a good fight too. And then Kelly Chase takes the mic and has a speech just after that. And they talked to him in the last ESPN Plus game. I remember, was that Friday night against the Blackhawks? And that was the first time I'd heard it. He lost his vision and his hearing for a couple weeks, and that is terrifying. I mean, it reminds me of, when the parents of Helen Keller first figured out that their daughter was deaf and blind. And it's just like, that has got to be the most terrifying thing, especially for the person. No one can speak to me. No one can tell me what's going on. Like, my heart broke for Chase when I heard that. And then that speech he gave with Garth Butcher by his side and just so many people standing with him and the stuff that he said, just such an absolute warrior. I don't know if you saw the picture that went viral of him and Layla, our friend Layla Anderson from 2019, of them hugging. It was beautiful, just a great picture. And everything about that speech. And I'll say, and I'll, Bill, I know you have thoughts too. I'll just say kudos to FanDuel Sports. Have they finally figured out that the fans at home want to see certain things that happen in the arena? How many times have we said we missed the tribute video for David Perron or Tyler? Well, I guess Tyler Bozak didn't have one, but whoever. They actually did not go to commercial. They let it run, and they showed the whole Kelly Chase speech and then went right back to the game. No commercial at all. Thank you, FanDuel, for finally understanding what your fans want.
Yeah, they were very cognizant of it. I have to imagine that everybody on the non-production side was telling the people on the production side, don't forget this. We're not missing this. This is much more important than, telling us that FanDuel is live in Missouri 25 times during a commercial break. So yeah. Thought that was awesome. The emotions of that whole segment really, like you said, the Shen fight, Shen going up against Nick Hague, gave up 5 inches and 45 pounds and held his own. Like it was a nice battle. And the timing was perfect to go into the Chase speech. And awesome that Garth Butcher was there. When I heard him talking on the ESPN broadcast, he mentioned Garth, and Garth has come in, every time. And, for whatever reason, I was thinking he's talking about Garth Brooks, and like that does that. Why? I guess they're friends. And then when I saw Butcher standing next to him in there, I'm like, oh my God, how dumb am I? But yeah, it was awesome.
I'll say Garth Brooks was not a far reach, because isn't he friends with Kelly Chase?
I'm pretty sure they are. Like you said it, the Chaser's a warrior, right? And he is, after Bobby Plager, he is the fabric of this team, right? Yes. He's given his entire existence to representing the St. Louis Blues, and the reciprocal relationship he has with the fans is amazing. And I had a moment at the end of that where I was like, the day is going to come too soon when we hear that he's lost the battle, And
Yeah.
like I have to enjoy this moment right now, because it means everything to him and to the fans in the city. And
Yep.
you know, it it was also a very good distraction from yet another poor on ice performance. So
Yep. Yep. And yeah, and same with me. I mean, and we, you know, it's funny how hockey truly is. I know I've said this before, that hockey is really the exception to not meeting your heroes. Because typically with like the MLB, NFL, NBA, even soccer, a lot of these guys are just douchebags. It's more the exception in those sports, I think, that you meet someone really genuinely nice. And hockey, it's the opposite. It's you typically meet very gentlemanly guys off the rink, and it's rare that you find the douchebags. But having said that, Kelly Chase is the nice of the nice. Like, he's right there with Bernie Federko, Bob Plager, like you said. Um, just an excellent ambassador for the sport and for the city. He's an adopted son of St. Louis. I think we can officially claim that at this point. And I remember actually Tim McKernan, who does the morning after here in St. Louis, local morning show. I don't know if he still does it, but he used to do like this side like interview show. I think it was only a podcast. And he would interview just random people. And I remember he did one with Kelly Chase, and I listened to that episode, and he has like a little kind of like how I do it, like has a little preamble. So yeah, Tim McKernan steals from me, but like he always has like a little preamble before, you know, the interview starts that, you know, he records separately. And I remember him saying, and this was in 2019, I remember him saying, I really hope, he's like, obviously as a Blues fan, as someone who lives in the city of St. Louis, obviously I hope we win a Stanley Cup one day, but I hope they win it for Kelly Chase. Like, in his lifetime, I hope we see a Stanley Cup for Kelly Chase, because that man literally bleeds blue. I think those were almost exact words from Tim McKernan. I remember hearing that and thinking, yeah, like obviously Bob Plager is the first name that came to mind at the time, and Bernie Federko was another one, but Kelly Chase is right there. And it's just so funny because, you know, Bob Plager, original blue, Bernie Federko, arguably top 3 greatest players of all time for the Blues. And then you got Kelly Chase, tough guy, fighter, never played more than 6 minutes in a game. But again, it's the longevity. It's the fact that he stuck around after he retired. He was already a fan favorite when he played here. Then he did radio and was great at it, was hilarious, and then left that and is still around the organization and still doing you know, so many things with the Blues and with the fans, and just a wonderful guy. So, you know, when I remember, because this is his second bout now, right, with this awful disease.
yeah,
And
second
I remember
or third,
I remember the first time my mom was the one that told me, actually, because she's not even a huge hockey fan, but she loves Kelly Chase, just like everyone in the city. And I remember just literally just feeling my heart like just sink. And I was just, oh, you got to be kidding me. Kelly, they went after Kelly Chase. And it's just unfortunate, but I got to say, man, you know, I mean, obviously he looks different with his, you know, facial hair gone and all the chemo he's going through, but he still looks pretty good. He still looks like a fighter. And I know I'm with you on 100%. The day will come, at least for our sake, no offense, Kelly, the day will come where he's going to pass and we'll still be here. I'm just saying that because he's a lot older than us. But I just hope that day's not anytime soon. I hope he beats this. He lives a long and healthy older life, and we see him prosper and still be a part of this organization, because he really is, like I said, one of the nicest of the nice guys you can meet.
Yeah. And you brought up 2019, so we'll go back to that. That the video that they played in the first round, I think they played it throughout the playoffs and just kept updating it. He set the tone, and that made everybody that heard that believe. And you know, whether that you know, you can follow a through line from him through the fans to the players, I don't know, but man, just the first time I saw that and heard what he said, yeah, totally gave me chills. And
Yep. Still does.
Super happy that the team delivered for both him and Bobby. So
Yep, and it still does for me. Literally, you just bringing that video up just gave me chills. You know, hey there, bud, we're still here. You know, that kind of thing. I just, so well done, and just seeing his face, and he's still in that video. He's still like a guy who would take on anyone in the NHL.
yeah,
It was just so awesome to see him do that. Also wanted to add, Josie was singing the national anthem, 8-year-old, I believe, who is at Siteman Cancer Center. And, you know, great to see. She got a great ovation. And I loved that even into the microphone, she said, "Home of the Blues." I thought that was fantastic. So good work, Josie. Don't know if you ever hear this, but everybody was hanging on your every note with that song. Good work. All right. Well, I think we can take a quick commercial break, and we will come back and talk about tonight's game against the Winnipeg Jets, which was a victorious one for the Blues. Spoiler alert. If you're watching a post-game show and you didn't know what happened, reconsider your life choices. We will be right back right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
What are you doing? Have you not subscribed to the Let's Go Blues Minute yet? Do it wherever you get podcasts. It provides a daily look into the St. Louis Blues, filling the gap between Let's Go Blues radio shows. Go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Friendster. I don't care. Just subscribe and get fresh blues content daily. Do it. Like now.
Every hockey team needs that clutch player who knows when to pass, when to shoot, and when to take charge. In real estate, that superstar is Mike Burgoyne of Real Brokerage Realty. Whether you're buying your first home or selling your current one, Mike skates circles around the competition with his knowledge, hustle, and down-to-earth approach. And here's the real zone ability. If you're a first responder, veteran, doctor, nurse, teacher, or even just a loyal Let's Go Blues radio listener, you'll score special rates when you work with Mike. Got questions? Fire them at him. He'll answer quicker than Bill Day's glove hand. Obstacles in your way? He'll plow through them harder than I would in a goalmouth scramble. And when it comes time to close, he'll put it in the back of the net faster than a Kirk Price shot from the slot. So don't just settle for an ordinary realtor. Get the MVP on your side. Visit strikewithmike.com or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com today. Mike Burgoyne, the real estate teammate you can always count on.
Is your business wanting to advertise but not wanting to break the bank? Are you wanting to target 20 to 60-somethings for your product or service? We can help. The Let's Go Blues radio team is currently accepting new advertisers for our live shows and at our website, letsgoblues.com. Pricing starts at just $10 per month. Go to letsgoblues.com/advertising to learn more.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
So, coming out of break, Winning Unlimited, our friend Adam Gold joins and says, Carla McLeod, who actually I interviewed in the past, the Ottawa Charge coach, gold medalist, also diagnosed this month with cancer. She's coaching right now in Seattle against the Torrent. So, unfortunate news. I did not hear that about Carla. Wonderful coach and a wonderful person. And I know she will come out swinging and will definitely be a victor, just as Kelly Chase will be against this horrible disease. So tonight, not an easy transition there, but we're going to do it anyway. Tonight, the St. Louis Blues battled the Winnipeg Jets and took this 1-0. That's all we'll say on this game. Let's move on. Let's talk about the next thing. I'm just kidding.
Let's talk about that 7-2 shellacking by the Predators.
Yes,
because you know,
let's break that one down.
Let's rage bait everyone.
So for this game, well, first of all, we've got it separately here, but before this game, the Blues did claim Jonatan, I think is what I'm supposed to call him, Berggren off waivers from Detroit. No, not Patrick Berglund. Jonatan Berggren. And they reassigned Hugh McGing to Springfield. Berggren is 25. He's just in 15 games for the Red Wings this season. He's got 2 goals and 6 points. He was drafted by the Wings in the second round, 33rd overall in 2018 from Sweden, of course, because this team is basically turning into a Team Sweden roster. He's totaled 64 points, including 31 goals in 169 career NHL regular season games. And then, of course, with McGing, he did score 2 points for the Blues in his call-up in 3 games, and he is back with the Thunderbirds. So they had to make room for Berggren because if they tried to put him down into Springfield, he would have had to have cleared waivers again, and my guess is Detroit would have probably taken him back. So had to make room. McGing made sense, send him down. He's on a 2-way contract, and so they claimed Berggren. I did not know much about this fella. I'd heard the name, but I wasn't that familiar. And so I did do a little bit of research, spoke with a couple people that are Red Wings fans that I know. And I will say the overall consensus that I got was good luck. Kind of a Jacob Verana situation, unfortunately. But I will say we've seen before, changes of scenery can do players a lot of good. And it was a small sample size, 1 game. I loved the way he looked tonight.
Yeah, he looked like an NHL competency player. Not seeing, Hugh McGing, he got his 2 points, he got his first goal. Didn't look completely out of place. But, McGing replaced Kaskimaki. Kaskimaki didn't impress at all.
No.
But I feel like if ultimately Berggren is, the replacement for that position, it's a big upgrade over what we initially started with Kaskimaki. And again, nothing against McGing. His work ethic is second to none. But I felt like there was a lot of talent on that line tonight with, slotting Berggren in with Dvorsky and Suter. They looked like a solid third line NHL line. So,
yeah, I was going to comment on that I loved that line tonight. They looked great. I mean, Suter I thought had a really good game tonight, first of all, but he just seemed to really kind of slide into that position right away. I mean, it's not easy for a player to literally get claimed and then within about 26, 27 hours, play with his new team in his new town. And he looked great. Again, I don't want to, put the cart before the horse and say, oh my gosh, what a master stroke by Armstrong. But you need, and we said this last week with Fabry, a lot of people were like, oh, you already know what you're getting, and why do you bring him back? You need NHL bodies at this point. You've had so many injuries. You can't just say, oh, this 20-year-old down in Springfield just joined the Thunderbirds. We got to call him up because we need people. No, you need actual, as much as it pains me or pains fans to kind of see like some of these retreads get brought in. Sometimes it is what you literally have to do. And right now the Blues are just absolutely hurting for NHL talent in their forward group. And, maybe Berggren plays here a couple games. They start getting players back. They send him away, and all of a sudden another team claims him again. But from what I saw tonight, he is an NHL player. And I'll say the people I talked to who were basically telling me good luck, they said the issue with him is mostly that he is an offensive player. He is a very good offensive player in the offensive zone, good passer. We saw an amazing pass from him tonight in front to Suter. And then Suter danced around, did a 360, missed the net, unfortunately, but still a good chance. But I heard that he's very good in that aspect, but back checking, positioning in the defensive zone, that's where he struggles. And, we hear that all the time with Jordan Kyrou. But, if you got a guy that you can kind of try in this new role. Again, he's leaving a Detroit team that has been up and down the last couple of years, and obviously coming to another up and down team with the Blues, but still a different structure, a different mindset. Montgomery does kind of coach this freedom of offense type play, and maybe he'll thrive in it. So again, that line I just thought looked tremendous, and I was very happy with the results. They didn't score any goals, but I thought they created a ton of chances. Berggren in front of the net has very soft hands, and definitely was battling in the boards. Hey, right now, that's what the Blues need.
Yeah, the one write-up you shared about him talked about poor board play leading to demotions, and I thought that was actually a strong part of his game tonight, being able to get the puck out of the zone in what I like to refer to as the Jordan Kyrou danger zone. From the hash marks up to the blue line along the boards. Jordan Kyrou is going to turn the puck over 99 times out of 100. I thought Berggren's play there was very effective tonight, and I thought that line looked like they had chemistry. And God, like beginning of the season, that move Suter pulls is in the back of the net, and it just it hopped on him or something. But yeah, I really like that line, and I'm on Hockey Reference right now, and the pronunciation for you is Jonatan Berggren.
Whoa, okay, so they were calling him Berggren all night. So we need to send that to Curbs and Joey. Jonatan Berggren. Berggren. Okay, Berggren. Okay, that's interesting.
He's a smiling bear.
Yeah, basically. Okay. Berggren. I'll have to remember that.
So yeah,
between him and Pius Suter, the pronunciations are starting to get Aleksanteri Kaskimaki. I mean, come on, Blues, you're killing me. Where's the Mike Jones on this team?
Mike Johnson. He's broadcasting for.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So in his career, his name was familiar to me from his time with Detroit. He actually has played the Blues. I think it's a total of 5 times, and he had 2 goals and 2 assists in those 5 games. So
you got to think Armstrong was like, "Hey, if this, he can beat us, so now he's got to join us."
That's right. That's right. That's to me that players that might even be a fluke game, but they pop some numbers, they'll catch the eye, right? Especially if your team's having a bad game and the manager's like, well, I'll just take this as a scouting game. That guy doesn't look too bad, so might be something. But yeah, and apart from him, you mentioned we're basically like the Swedish national team summer league team right now.
Yeah, right.
It's Steen's fingerprints all over this, I think.
Yep.
And Otto Stenberg. We talked a few weeks ago about how he's not getting the call up this year because he's just not having a good year. It's his transition year, but damn, he looked good. He looked like he should have made this roster out of training camp.
Yep, and I'll say, and so yes, if you didn't watch the game tonight, what are you doing listening to us right now? But Otto Stenberg called up before the game and did play tonight, and he really impressed me. So I mentioned that when we saw him, I saw him a couple times in preseason at a training camp, not impressive to me at all. And I thought, it's going to take a lot to get him called up this year. Well, it did. It has taken a lot, and he did get called up. And I loved the commentary from Kerber and Vitale tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was Kerber who said that he's a guy that, like, when he's playing with smart players, NHL caliber players, that he elevates his game by feeding off them.
Right.
And
he's a high IQ player, and when you play him with other high IQ players, he plays a very top end game.
Yep. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. He looked so good. He had 13:38 of ice time, didn't register a shot on goal, but definitely had his chances. And by the way, Berggren, did have 3 shots on goal in this game in 12:45. So again, I thought he looked very good. But yeah, Stenberg, just, I mean, all over the ice. They had him on the PK, which I don't know. I guess I'm just used to the Hitchcock Berube mindset of no rookies on the PK.
Right. And so, if Steen had anything to do with the call up, kudos to him for breaking that damn mold. Like I hate that so much. Like in the point that Curbs and Vitale made tonight about him being a high IQ player, right? You don't want to waste him playing with a Huma Gang, right? Not to say Huma Gang's not a high IQ player, much higher IQ than any of us, but as far as getting into the NHL and playing, you want to surround him with guys that think the same way and have skill to execute. And I was absolutely shocked that he was on the PK tonight, but he didn't look out of place.
No, not at all. Looked very good. And again, like they were using him down the stretch in the game. I'm not sure how many shifts he had in the third period, but I know he was out there a lot, when the Blues were trying to hold Winnipeg back. And I loved seeing him out there. I thought he brought a lot of energy. I'll admit, when Kaskimaki was called up, this is the kind of play I was hoping for. Now, I will say, I think Stenberg played better than most rookies do in their first NHL game, so I don't want to completely, rub it in Kaskimaki's face. But, I mean, like you said, Kaskimaki clearly was not ready, and I think he will be. He's a very good talent in the NHL. But Stenberg he brought it tonight. Just looked so good and confident. We mentioned the hockey IQ, but the confidence I saw in him I will say though, one quick note on him that was kind of funny. I don't know if you saw it. I believe it was in this. So let's see. It was in the second period. Logan Stanley, who we'll talk about because that guy's a douchebag. He goes behind the net and he kind of was protecting the puck and he had his face kind of toward the glass. Stenberg came up behind him and tried to check him. And I'm not kidding. Not one part of Logan Stanley even moved. I was like, that was like a fly landing on my shoulder. Like, he just did not even like phase at all. Like, oh, someone's checking me. I should move the puck. It was like, oh, there's some tiny guy on my back that I just need to kind of skate away from, and it was just, it's like, yeah, okay, he's probably got a little bit more physical training he needs to do to be a fully ready NHL player. But overall, for a first game, he was very impressive. And I do think even if somehow one of these injured guys comes back, I think we're going to see him in the next game.
Yeah. I mean, the lineup tonight I thought was great. I really liked Fabry with Thomas and Bushnevich. And, just Jim Montgomery cannot go through an entire game, with playing the same guys on the same line. And so by the end of the game, it was Torpchenko, which, okay,
and
it works.
Too.
Yeah. And that was the part that got me worried. Like, honestly, I'm like, why not Stenberg at this point? But hey, it wound up working. But yeah, I felt like, some of those games in the last couple of weeks, it was like, oh, we're definitely not fielding a full or icing. Don't want to say field. But we are not employing a full NHL talent roster. But tonight felt completely like this is every player on this team currently has the competency to play at the National Hockey League level, and they did. And
I will say, and we talked about this before the show, I don't think the Jets played their best game tonight. I did not like the way they looked outside of Hellebuck, which, by the way, welcome back, regular season Hellebuck, right? Like, can't do it in the playoffs, but he can sure do it in the regular season. I did not like the way they looked. There was a lot of fumbling the puck at the blue line that led to the Blues being able to clear. There was a lot of stupid penalties, which again, the very late game, like, what are you guys doing? Jesus. And then I just thought offensively weren't clicking the way we've seen them click in the past. But overall, yes, I will say the Blues did look like an NHL roster. And it kind of reminded me of, if you remember the COVID season, 2020, I guess that was 2021, 2022, when it was the NHL was completely ridiculous. And they'd be like, oh, you've got COVID? Well, you can't be around the team for 10 days and we're not giving you an IR spot, which was the dumbest thing ever. But when they called up, like, I remember Nathan Walker, I believe that was his first call up with the Blues. And then maybe there's a couple other guys too that had stepped up.
Dakota Joshua was in there.
Dakota Joshua, that's right. And all of a sudden, like, you were like, oh my gosh, we're going into this team with our AHL team, basically. And they ended up going on a roll and winning like 4 games because they just looked like a bunch of guys that were really battling and wanted to be where they were. And again, I'm not saying this is going to lead to any kind of crazy run here at the end of 2025, but the way they played tonight, they play like that. And again, I do think you didn't get a good Winnipeg team tonight, but I think you play like that, you're going to get more wins than not because they battled. They played hard all night.
Right. And, the way that, the Central at this point is, the haves and the have-nots, right? You have the top 3 teams. And, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Quinn Hughes trade to Minnesota. And,
wow.
Really, right, that's we're really striating and separating out the wheat from the chaff in the Central. You've got your top 3 teams clearly now, and then somebody is going to trip into the second wild card from the Central. The Pacific's, the Ducks are top of the Pacific, but they wouldn't be top 3 in the Central. So I think somebody will be able to trip into the second wild card from the Central, and the Blues are still in the mix. As shitty as this season has felt, shitty as it's been, somebody's going to be there and maybe accidentally get in. The Hawks are going to be up against it for a while now with Bedard being out with the freak injury. Thank you, Braden Shed. Thank you, Braden Shed. Nobody's blaming him on the national media, but thank you, Braden Shed.
Well, I will say the only people I've seen complaining about that were Blackhawks fans. Even Jeff Blashill, after the game, they asked him, what do you think of what happened to Bedard? And he even said, oh, it was a freak accident. Like, no intention there at all. And I appreciate Jeff Blashill being honest there and not trying to get the NHL to look at it, because it was a completely odd looking play. Like, Shen did not mean to do that. It was very innocent.
Right. It was a grizzled veteran being hard on a younger player, but it wasn't dirty, right? It was making sure that you're taking out the most talented player, not with intent to injure, but positionally making sure he can't do anything off that faceoff. And it just, the way he fell backwards was awkward. And unfortunately, I think it's safe to say that he's not going to be on Team Canada. He was bubble anyway, but Macklin Celebrini's playing him off that team anyway. So
yeah, I agree. Actually, you know what? Let's get to that one in a minute. Let's do this one first, since this is what we're discussing. It feels like the Central is 2 great teams and a bunch of crabs fighting in a bucket to get the 3rd spot. And that's from our friend Trees. And then we've got Divide by Zero. My greatest fear is we will limp along, take ourselves out of the lottery contention, and miss the playoffs.
That's a very likely scenario.
Braden, I punch baby's Shen. I don't think he would like that nickname. I don't know, maybe. But the next point that I wanted to make is this comment here from our friend D Browns. I think that's what we can just call him, D Browns, because there's 2 S's there. Dvorsky looked really dynamic tonight. Dude loves playing with Swedes. I feel like he's really elevated his game. even in that horrible Nashville loss last week, I thought he was one of the better Blues players. He scored his first even strength goal the other night and added a power play goal as well. But I really am impressed by him. And I said this a while ago, and I want to say you agree with me. I could be wrong. I think in terms of upside, I think Dvorsky is a more impressive prospect than Snuggerud. I think Snuggerud fits in the NHL better now, but I could see if in 3 years Dvorsky's the better player. Would not surprise me one bit. I just think he has this really good offensive upside, and man, he just does so many things, and I'm just like, and again, talking about Stenberg earlier, just like, you're a rookie. You have no business making this play. I think back to his first goal he scored, that insane one-timer he took, and just the passes we see him make, the attempts he makes, the back checking we're seeing from him. I'm very impressed by Dvorsky, especially the last, I'd say, 4 to 5 games.
Yeah, no, he we all dream when we get that, that pick in the top 10, that they're going to come along and win a Calder Trophy. And obviously that's not the script that's being written, but he's showing that he belongs at this level as a rookie. I think he's playing more like a veteran. And there is so much upside, right? Disappointing that he wasn't able to score on that 2-on-1 tonight, where he knew the pass wasn't there, tried to pull it back, and Hellebuck gave him the blocker side, and he just couldn't hit it. But the fact that he was in that position to begin with tells you so much about his game, right? Yeah. And when you talk about him versus Snuggerud, right? Dvorsky is a center and will impact the game. Snuggerud's a scorer, right? And when he finally gets into his rhythm, assuming that he'll come back healthy and get back into things, and find that day-to-day work ethic and a rhythm and hit his stride as a scorer, he's going to be dynamic in that role. But Dvorsky will be able to do everything. Like the fact that they trust him with faceoffs at this point in his career says a lot. And
it was his fourth game, and they were letting him play center, which again, right, I kind of is a testament to Montgomery. I think that the old school coaching mentality, even guys like Joel Quenneville, who were allegations aside, is one of the best coaches in NHL history. It was always, you don't let rookies play center. There's too much responsibility. Let them learn the game at the NHL level on the wing, then have them play center. That way they can focus on faceoffs, then focus on defensive side of the puck a little bit more then. And for Montgomery, I think he's just realized Dvorsky doesn't need that. He's ready to go. And I think when you recognize that, obviously the prolific talents are a little different. The franchise generational players, Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, all the players named Connor, basically. They're going to let them play center because that's their natural position. But a guy like Dvorsky or, anybody like that, you're typically not letting them play center when they first come up, and letting Montgomery kind of say, "Hey, kid, we're giving you the reins. Let's see what you can do." We've talked a lot of issues with Montgomery this year. That's one thing that I appreciate about him is I think he does a very good job with his rookie management and his young player management. Again, we talked about Stenberg earlier. I think he's letting them kind of do what he know they can do. It's not do you remember Tarasenko playing in the playoffs in his rookie year and playing on the fourth line with Chris Porter and, oh God, who's the other guy? Ryan Reeves. Mm. Yeah. And it was just, he is wasted out there. You might as well put a fourth liner out there instead. He's not going to do anything. And he played 4 minutes, and it's like, I'm glad to see that we don't have a coach like that anymore. Let these guys, let's see what they can do with real ice time.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonight, nobody was good in the faceoff. at the last update I heard on that, the stats in the broadcast tonight, we hadn't won a face-off in the third period, and we're like hovering around 30% for the game.
So for the game, I've got the stat right here. For the game, 16 for 43, 37.2%. And also keep in mind, folks, that stats are typically skewed toward the home team for face-off wins because, you can there's some times where it's like, well, that was a win, but the other team got it first, so let's give it to them. So they typically skew it toward the home team. So that tells you they were that bad tonight in the face-offs. The fact they got the W, including a shutout, is very impressive.
Yeah. No, that it's. I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Joel Hofer. Monty said it. Going into the game that Monday wasn't his best game. Wasn't completely on him, but the goalie gave up the turnaround shot from the blue line. Yeah,
that was bad. He just wasn't ready.
Right. That was and I hate to say this, but Binnington-esque.
Burn on both goalies.
Yeah, right. We haven't had a save of the week in several weeks because it's hard to give a save of the week to statistically the worst goaltending tandem in the NHL. Could have come up with one, but with us going live right after the game, I really did like Hofer's pad play tonight. He was sealing everything off very well. Made 2 or 3 really great kick saves. Both goalies did. Both goalies had some really great reactionary kick saves, which that warms my 80s goaltender heart. But Hofer was solid and showed that he wasn't going to let Monday linger. And you got to think Bennington's getting the net tomorrow. You don't go back to back. Quick turnaround again. This season's so crazy, like how much hockey we're consuming in a short period of time.
I said it a couple weeks ago on Let's Go Blues Minute, because last season, with it not being a condensed schedule, I was able to do more prospect reports and let's see what the Springfield Thunderbirds are up to this week. And I think I've done that once this entire season. I've been cranking out 4 shows a week. So it's like there's always a Blues thing to talk about. It's crazy. And so, right here, actually real quick. I'm in a giving mood, Bill. I'm in a pretty giving mood here. So I'm going to give a few gentlemen comment of the show because there's a good discussion going on here and they're all funny. So let's just see. Matt Harris, of course, he's involved. Have the Blues ever considered drafting a Connor? I feel like that'd be a good idea, to be honest. Winning Unlimited says even Connor Fillier. Matt Harris adds, are there any Swedish Connors to bring up to Steen? And D. Brown SS, who, by the way, said the SS is because he had an SS Camaro back in the day. I get that now. He says Ivar is Connor in Swedish. So thank you, gentlemen. Comments of the show.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Yep. So anyway, but I wanted to get back to goaltending, Bill, because 1, you're the guy to talk about goaltending with. And 2, obviously, Hofer was very good in this game. Matt Harris, and it's kind of a tale of 2 seasons for me here. But for Matt Harris, Hofer is so funny. Either gives up 10 goals or 0. I mean, he was it's hard. I can't believe I'm saying this. Basically, historically bad to open this season. I mean, he was last in GAA and save percentage for a good, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to open the season. And it was just, oh my God, what happened to this guy? Well, now he's basically taken the #1 job.
Yeah, but I'll go back to game 2 of the season. We go up to Calgary, and Calgary should have destroyed us in that game. But Joel Hofer was the difference. He made 10 saves in a 10-minute span in the second period that were, 10. They were all 10 bell saves, right? 10, 10, 10. wait, no, God, starting to sound like a certain president with
Oh,
stupid
no.
words. He was so good in that
Off of
game,
me.
and then he was terrible after that. All right,
Yep.
but I think the function of it is, and of course, me being the goalie and being a goalie defender, the team saw how well he played back there, and they're like, "Oh, he's got this." And our team defense has been shit all year, right? You don't have the worst goaltending tandem statistics because the goaltenders are bad. It's a team thing, right? And we give up so many backdoor chances. They didn't do it a lot tonight against the Jets, but the one, like Cole Perfetti, like Vitali said, he was back there camping, pitching a tent, had a hot dog, and they got the pass, right? They just leave everybody open at the back door all too often. For the most part, they did a good job with it tonight, except for that one play. And I forget if it was a flubbed pass or if Hofer made that save. But the team defense has really, really been, put the goalies in a bad position, and the goalies haven't been able to step up too often, right? I think Hofer's been the better of our goalies when it comes to delivering a big game when we need it. That Calgary game, go back to Ottawa, and then tonight, right? So confidence-wise, if we were going into the playoffs right now, Hofer would be in my starters net.
All right. Yeah, and I'm with you 100%. I'm with you that the statistics are not fair. And honestly, this is league-wide for goaltenders. We've seen goalies just play really well, but still give up 4 goals in a game. And it's like, yeah, well, your GAA is going to suck, which is why I always say GAA to me is more of a team statistic. But Matt Harris, if Hofer gets scored on, I say we just pull him immediately. Yes. Yeah, that's how we should treat our goalies. But no, he's just played so well. And yeah, I think, and obviously you say if playoffs started today, I think you would have to give it a short leash just because Binnington's been so proven in the playoffs, but that's not a knock against Hofer. And yeah, and I think Hofer, and I'll say this too, and I know I've had my issues with some of the coaching methods of Montgomery this past season, especially, but none more than the goaltenders, the way he handles goalies. And again, it's par for the course with this team. This franchise has never figured out how to handle its goalies in 55 years, however long it's been now. But for me, I was shocked, surprised, but happy with his starting decision tonight. Because yes, I thought Hofer, I thought 2 of those goals were very weak on him, especially the one from the blue line. I did not like his I know he kind of slipped, but still you got to be held accountable on the wraparound that was scored on him. And I thought, man, if this was even a week ago, I think he goes back to Binnington tonight, gives Hofer the Rangers. But the way he's played overall in the past, 2 weeks total, I think you gotta stick with Hofer. And I think that finally they made a decision in goal that I was happy with, because I thought, man, going into tonight, I'm like, it's gonna be Binnington. Like, it's gonna be, because it's the Winnipeg Jets. You got to play your starter against the Central. But to me, like you said, your starter right now is Joel Hofer. He's played better. He's been more consistent. And I think the team plays better in front of him. So despite the 2 goals that I did not like against him last game, I love the fact that he got the crease again, because how many times have we seen Binnington get the chance to redeem himself? Which I'm glad they do that, because I think goalies, you shouldn't sit them every time they lose a game, but he gets that chance a lot. Hofer never really does. So to see him get the starter's crease tonight, I was very, very happy with.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm responding to Adam questioning me if I'm familiar with advanced goaltending statistics, defense independent goalie ratings, something that I need to be. So I, school me, Adam, point me in the right direction. I was about to talk about the goals saved above expected. And after tonight, Joel Hofer is a positive rating. He is at 1.2, so that's good. Jordan Binnington is no longer the worst in the league at this statistic. It's Linus Ullmark. But Binnington is second last. He's 81st in the league at goal in that stat. So that does not portend well. 2 years ago when we were talking about him as, should be considered for Vezina votes, he was leading the league for long stretches of time. And, I don't know. To me, I think it would be an interesting study if you could determine, like, how long, like, is there playing in front of a bad or behind a bad defense, like what is this? So kind of the opposite of the idea of defense neutral statistics for goalies. What is the impact of bad defense on goaltending statistics over several seasons, right? Because I feel like it just runs you down, right? When you're consistently playing behind a team. We talked about it a little bit last week. Binnington changed his off-season routine to strengthen his ankles and his pushing from post to post because we give up so many backdoor opportunities, right? Yep. If a goalie starts thinking that way, right, how much weight is that putting on him and his performance and causing him
so let me ask you, not to interrupt, but I wanted to ask you, after you said that last week, because I knew that, but it was something that kind of like passed through one ear and out the other. But then when you said it, I thought, oh yeah, typical man, right? But no, I when you said it, I thought, I kind of thought about it more later that night, especially when I was editing the show and I heard it again. I was like, oh yeah. And so let me ask you though, do you think that a big reason Binnington's struggling is because he's been trying to change his game, and it's like, stick to what you know and hope and make the defense adjust? What are your thoughts there?
I think if you approach it as a one or the other, it's not going to work out well in the long run. But if you're able to, complement your standard core skill set with, better and better other parts of your game, and it's not a trade-off, to where you're overall improving and not just moving, the needle on one place only to see it fall at another. I think that's what, elite players do, right? They don't make trade-offs when they know they can be better in a place. They don't make a trade-off in their core game to make that adjustment. The true elite guys, the guys that are going to be in the Vezina, and when we're talking about goaltending, the guys that are going to be in the Vezina conversation every year, they're fixing things without damaging other parts of the game.
By the way, I did change your name there. You said it earlier. You're now the goaltending defender.
Yes.
There you go. I like that. That's a superhero name right there.
That's right.
It's like there's a burning building, right? And like there's a goalie in there with a bunch of women and children, and the goaltending defender is here. And you go in and you like grab all the goalie's pads, you grab him, you throw him over your back, and the women and children are all like, goaltending defender, what about us? They're like, I'm here to save the goaltender. And then you just like fly out the window and leave them to perish. I really took that one to left field, didn't I?
A little bit.
Okay, so let's see. Let's get into some of these other comments here. Ace says, maybe it's me, but I feel like Binnington does this every year. Maybe not as bad as this year, but kind of common for him. IMO. I don't want to say he does this every year. He definitely has his stretches. Don't get me wrong, where it's like he's forgotten how to stop a puck. But again, with the exception of that game where he was pulled like 10 minutes in,
the Anaheim game, like I don't think he's played that. Honestly, tell me I'm crazy, but I don't think he's played that poorly. It's not, and again, I hate to always harp back on this, but it's not Jake Allen in January, where it was like literally a beach ball could beat him on every shot. I just think that he's not the shutdown, reliable starter that we've seen him be in the past. I mean, obviously you think of end of last season, you think of, the run in 2021, obviously the run in 2019, which is, we'll never see a goalie touch that again. But I don't think it's that he's played that poorly. I just don't think he's not up to snuff in terms of where he's been in the past. He's definitely taken a step back, but I don't think it's a matter of, he does this every year. He's this bad. This is who he is. No, I just think he's had a rough stretch and he's being outplayed by the other goaltender. Yeah. I mean, there's an element of that. I think after he had that good run in 21, 22, the 2 seasons after that were like, man, we need that goalie that steals a game every now and then. And then that disappeared until the stretch run last season. And then he was back. But we're not seeing that this year. Right. And it's, the hardest thing, I think, not that you or I or anybody, listening to this or watching this podcast have ever played in the NHL, but the hardest thing has to be consistency year in and year out. That's why you hear like defensemen don't really mature until their late 20s. You have your ups and downs. And after last year, I was like, I'm hoping that Binnington's really got this down now. And yes, the numbers aren't adding up that he's figured out the season long consistency. And that's it. It sucks.
Yep. And we got a question here from Ace. He says, is his age why he is getting ruffled up? And I don't want to say it's age yet. I don't think we're at that point with him yet. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like with him, it's again, I think this defense, you look back at the 2021, 2022, 2023, the years of Mike Van Ryn basically running the defense, he had poor numbers. And again, it's those backdoor chances. I always go back. I think it was Halloween of 2022. I could be wrong, where he gave up like 3 backdoor goals, but he stopped like 4 other ones.
Right.
And it was like all in one period.
Right. It was against the Kings.
Yeah.
Right?
And I always remember that game because people were on social media. Oh, he needs to make a save. He's only faced 8 shots. But I'm like, 7 of them were backdoor chances. Like,
right.
Pay attention to the shot quality.
And 2 of those goals were rebounds off of damn good saves where somebody was open at the back door.
Yep.
And
so for me, it's like, I'm kind of, it's not as bad this year. I think it was much worse under Van Ryn, but it's definitely not been the normal defense. Now, I will say tonight might be the best. And, I know I said that the Jets didn't play their best game, but tonight might be the best I've seen this defense play overall. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of blocked shots. Justin Falk, I think Justin Falk has actually had a pretty good season considering what we've seen in the past. But yeah, I mean, obviously scored the big goal, but not only that, I thought he played very well defensively. Logan Mailloux, since the call up, has been fantastic.
Yeah. He had a couple of shifts in the second period where I'm like, man, this guy, like, if he can start snapping some into the net when he gets those pinch chances, and this trade's looking better already. But yeah, he's looked great. Huge difference tonight. Not that I think he had the strongest game, but Matt Kessel over Tyler Tucker.
Yes.
And this team looked a hell of a lot better.
I was going to say this needs to be the pairings going forward, at least in the short term, because I'm sorry. I love the story of Tyler Tucker, and I've said that before. 7th round pick, good for him, getting into the NHL. I still don't think he's more than a 7th defenseman in the NHL. Yeah. And how he worked his way into becoming an everyday player, I don't understand. If he's a guy, if you're playing a rough and tumble team, sure, put Tyler Tucker in there. Let him rough it up with some guys, and obviously can contribute to the offense as well too. But to me, it all comes down to positioning and foot speed for defenders. I think that's the most important things, and maybe not even foot speed. Just if you're positionally great, like Ryan Suter was, you can kind of overcome that foot speed. I think Tucker is lacking in both areas. And for me, if you're not a sound defensive positional player and you don't have the foot speed, you probably should not be an everyday NHL player. So for me, Matt Kessel, I think, does have those abilities. I think he's up and down. There's times where it's like, what happened to this kid? And then you see tonight how that he played very well on the left side of Justin Falk. And we mentioned Mailloux, that play when he boxed out, I think it was Connor in front of the net in the second or third period, was tremendous. That's what you want to see out of him. And, Colton Parayko leading the league in blocked shots, which is amazing. But Philip Broberg, man, I mean, that guy, to me, he's starting to take the number one job. I think when the Blues sign him to his next deal, it's going to be the number one defenseman. I think he is proving that he can be maybe not elite like a Quinn Hughes or like a, Miro Heiskanen, but he's a guy that if you need a number one defenseman, he's it right now for this team.
Yeah. There was not that I'm on the Elon site at all, but you shared something with me that somebody posted, and I'm like, I love Philip Broberg, but trying to put him in the same conversation as Quinn Hughes and Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar is like, one of these things is definitely not like the other. He is an amazing talent, and he is a number one defenseman in the NHL in a couple of years. But take him out of your mouth, because it's a little too much there. I loved seeing him out there tonight with Mayo. Like they put those two guys together, and that wasn't something we were going to see earlier in the season. But tonight they had at least a few shifts together. They looked really good. So give me more of that. Going back to Tyler Tucker, I think that he had a lot more runway this year because of the season he had last year. But I think the season he had last year was because Ryan Suter was the Tyler Tucker whisperer. And Ryan Suter's not here to do that this year. And we've seen regression. And so I think you're right. I think he's not better than a number 7. I think, especially after tonight's game, you give Matt Kessel a run, right? Kessel sat 5 games. You give Kessel the run of 5 games and sit Tucker. And then if it's not working or we get another injury, okay, then bring Tucker back in. But temper it, right? Without that veteran guy telling him what to do, shift in and shift out, he's not an effective guy.
The Cats and Rats podcast, I believe that's a new live listener. That I'm guessing is a Panthers podcast. Please, in the comments here, Cats and Rats. I like just calling you Cats and Rats now. Share with us, what's your show about? How often do you air? Where can people find your show? We love promoting other podcasts, so please let us know. But he or she in the chat says, moving Bolduc, is there that missing element from him not there? And he also adds Broberg, good value for sure as top pairing guy. Yeah, so basically, is there a missing element because Bolduc's gone? I don't think so. If Bolduc had been with this team for 3 or 4 seasons consistently, maybe you make that argument. He had a great year last year, don't get me wrong. But for me, I'm not going to say that this is like, oh, they made this trade and they ruined the chemistry of this team. I think he had a great year, but I think they traded they traded a surplus for a need. Obviously, Ryan Suter was not going to be the answer full time. Nick Leddy was not going to be your answer on this team. Hey, I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's scared me there for a second.
Yeah. Bill's alone.
I was getting ready to go in the full on. Well, this is now a 100% goaltending podcast. But no, I think for the Blues to have kept Bolduc we would have been looking at this team pushing in a different direction in terms of the style of play, because we had scoring depth through 3 lines, and the management decision was we need to address the defensive end of things, because what we've got this aging core that we can get rid of, and we need to make an adjustment. I think the start to the season that Mailloux had did nobody any favors. The start to the season that Bolduc had did him wonders, and my Habs wonders. He's I was actually concerned for Bolduc in the trade that he's going to go back to back and look terrible in front of the home fans, but he doesn't look out of place on that team. And he actually, Montreal's got the 3 lines of scoring depth, and I think he works really well in a system like that. The Blues, would I love to see us try to go that approach for a while? Yeah, but at the same time, when the cupboards are bare for defensemen that will be here for a long time, the trade made sense. Is there an element missing? It's so hard to say at this point because so many players are missing. We're there's
a lot of elements. The periodic table has been scratched down to like gold and silver, and that's all that's left.
Yeah, carbon. Yeah. They rue terminating Texier's contract. The second that happened, it's like, oh, everybody's injured. And Texier is another guy that has, Montreal is a higher end offensive team. He fits in with that system.
Yep. 100%.
The Blues aren't employing that. So yeah, it's kind of an apples and oranges comparison.
So Cats and Rats podcast adds Panthers podcast, and we do Around NHL, full coverage there on Saturdays, and best on best tournaments. Thanks. And I had Blues as my dark horse President's Trophy team coming into the season. I think we all kind of, after the run they had last year, kind of thought, okay, maybe. So I don't think you're crazy for that. But yeah, definitely did not do that. Oh, looks like Bill, maybe a fellow goalie here. Goalie union, stand up. There you go. So Bill is also a goalie for our ice hockey team, actually. So Bill still winless, but we'll get you there.
I stand there, and sometimes pucks hit me, and sometimes I fall down.
There you go. And then, well, it looks like our friend Matt Harris has changed his name to Comment of the Show. Boy, you don't got a big head, do you? One of my professors is a regular for Cats and Rats. They're good folk. Would recommend to everyone. Yeah, I'll have to check you out. And we actually got a game against the Panthers coming up, so maybe we'll try to get some info from you. And then, boy, there's a whole discussion going on there now. And let's see. Joe Schmo adds, Bull Duke would be valuable now because of injuries, but long term, we needed young NHL D-men. Yes, 100%. Agree with you there. And Cats and Rats also adds, we have our own goalie group chat. Right on, Bill. There you go. You could be talking to fellow goalies.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, you're all weird, by the way, every one of you. But I don't care who hears that. Goalies.
You know what? Thank you and fuck you.
Yeah. Oh goodness. So we don't want to take up a whole lot more time here, folks. It is getting kind of late, but I do want to mention real quick. We're talking about Logan Mailloux. So let's mention Mailloux and Matt Luff. First goals with the Blues this week, and a big win against the Chicago Blackhawks, 3-2 on Friday. So Thomas actually had 2 assists in that game, and the Blues did win that one. But yes, very nice to see 2 guys finally get on the board for the Blues. And I know that was exciting for both of them. Not either of their first NHL goals, but their first with the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, felt so good to see Mailloux score. And I thought really Luff had a very, very effective game. Like found his own, was getting down on the boards, causing havoc, and getting pucks to the slot. Great to see him rewarded. And he got rewarded with one more game and then sat. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I don't think you make a lot of lineup changes after tonight. I think Bennington's going to be the big one.
Yep.
But
I think they're going to put Tucker back in personally.
If they do, like I will go, like I'll buy a cheap ticket and I'll go throw a beer at Mike Weber or whoever makes that call. Because come on, go with what worked tonight.
Oh, I think they're definitely, because I think they're going to look at it as it's back to back. Let's get one of these guys out. But the thing that I don't understand when they do that is that they usually will pull out Kessel, and I'm like, Kessel's young. Like, you're telling me he can't play back-to-back games? Like, and maybe I'm creating controversy that doesn't need to be there because maybe they don't do this, but I feel like it's usually Kessel or Mailloux. And I'm like, those are the guys that you want to keep in for back-to-backs. Like, if you're worried about, slowing down in the second of a back-to-back, look at Falk or Fowler, like older guys on the roster. But again, maybe they don't do that, but I know they've done that in the past, and it is kind of annoying when that happens.
Yeah. So if you want to be an analytics-driven team, and take off the worst performing defenseman tonight, so that Tyler Tucker can get in, and we're not going to overtax this defense. Philip Broberg sits, according to the hockey stat cards. He had the worst rating of the Blues defense. Colton Parayko second worst. Cam Fowler, who I didn't really think had a great game, was the top, and Logan Mailloux right there behind him. How Justin Falk with the game's only goal is right in the middle.
That's surprising.
Yeah, the eye test and the advanced stats aren't matching up here tonight.
No, and it's not just because of the goal. I thought he played very well, like getting the puck out of the zone. Positionally was always in the right place and played one of his better games tonight, which I think he's played very well this season for all things considered. I think he's been one of the better Blues defensemen, but I agree. He should probably be at the top of that list. But again, goes to show why you can't just trust everything analytically.
Right. And, by that measure, our whole discussion about how great Otto Stenberg looked tonight is thrown out the window because he was analytically the worst Blues forward on the ice tonight.
I know I said this on the show when it happened. I'd love to dig this comment back out, but I remember I saw somebody say on social media once, I think it was 2 seasons ago, I thought Jordan Binnington had a great game, but then I looked at the analytics and I saw that he didn't have a great game. So I guess I was wrong. And I'm like, no, that's not how analytics work. So for me, yes, eye test is slightly more important than. Oh, stop happening. I don't know.
I
what's
was going to
on
try
here.
to finish your thought, but I couldn't even do it because, it's
Well,
late.
anyway,
and
that's
I'm a
not how
goalie and
analytics
you're a
work.
defenseman. And yeah.
Anyway, last thing I want to mention is the Dylan Holloway incident. He was tripped in practice, has a right ankle injury, and he will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. I'm guessing it's a break. That's typically why, about 6 weeks is about that time frame. I put a link in there, Bill. I'm not sure if you'll be able to access that. Couldn't find another video.
It didn't work on mobile. I just tried it again on the computer, and it just takes me to the TMA fan page.
So somebody posted the video, I guess. So they typically shut down Live Barn when the Blues practice, but I guess that was the one time they didn't. So somebody was able to pull the so if you're a member of the TMA fan page on Facebook, there is a post in there that has the video of what happened. And it was an offensive drill. The player, who I will tell you who it was, and you'll understand why there were some upset people. Basically, the player dove to try and get the puck off Holloway's stick, and unfortunately tripped up Holloway, and I'm guessing broke his ankle, and couldn't put any weight on it. And the player, take a guess. Who do you think it was?
Well, I heard it was Mailloux that helped him off the ice, so I'm going to say Mailloux.
Not Mailloux. It was Pavel Buchnevich.
Oh my God!
Which of course made everybody go into an uproar. Oh my God! And I saw somebody say, "Why are you diving in practice?" And I will just say this, and I cannot believe I'm about to defend Pavel Buchnevich, but with this team struggling, especially, you want to see that effort. To me, in practice, like, I do not have any fault at all for Pavel Buchnevich. I mean, it wasn't a play where he dove across and slide tackled Holloway. He was diving to try and poke the puck off his stick. You want to see effort in practice. So for people who are upset that Buchnevich was the one that did this and said, "Oh my God, why?" And then I saw somebody even say, "Why are they putting real game?" What did they say? Why are they doing real game situations in practice? Which just made me laugh hysterically, because I'm like, that's what practice is. The best types of practice are real game scenarios.
This isn't your Pee Wee Rec League practice where you're going through the motions.
Yep.
These are the elite players of the world, and they're going all out, or at least they should be. Unfortunately, that's the guy whose decision making we've questioned the most. Now we have to question his decisions in practice.
Yes. No, I just thought that was funny. I put no fault at all on Buchnevich and or Holloway, really. I mean, they're just, again, it's a game situation. You're trying to, I think they were doing power play, but I could be wrong. And yeah, Buchnevich just laid out, tried to poke the puck away, and unfortunately just got his feet. So they put Buchnevich in the box for 2 minutes, practiced him sitting in the box. No, I'm kidding. But everything else about that situation was a real game situation. So I appreciate the Blues doing that. I had no problem when I saw the play. I just thought, oh, that's just unfortunate, and Buchnevich stood up and was like, oh no, but it's like, dude, you're putting in the effort, you're doing the right things. And so I don't fault him at all. But the people who do, sorry, you don't understand how hockey or even just practices for sports work.
Nah, unfortunate.
Well, next up for the Blues, Thursday, they play the Rangers at 7:00. That's here. And then they hit the road, as I mentioned, with the Cats and Rats podcast. They play the Florida Panthers on Saturday at 5:00. On Monday, they play against Tampa at 6. We will have a show at some point next week. I don't know. It's going to be weird because of Christmas right in the middle of the week. But they return after the Christmas break on Saturday, December 27th, and they are home against Nashville. Hopefully, they can actually do something against Nashville this time, because Nashville definitely has their number this season.
Don't count on it.
Last thing I'll mention, just because it is big NHL news, and it obviously is, and Bill, you mentioned it earlier, but definitely worth at least bringing up. Quinn Hughes goes to the Minnesota Wild. Again, I actually found out through you. You were the one that texted me that.
Literally, you were texting me about the beer thing at that point, and I'm like, holy shit, this just came across as an alert on my phone. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It was a shock, to say the least. Like, we saw that Hughes was probably going to get moved. Obviously, the talk was New Jersey. But to go to Minnesota, that hurt to see that. And it was I actually thought it was a really good trade for Vancouver. They got a ton back in return, and they are going to be loaded in a couple of years. Byam went, and that was shocking that Minnesota let go of him. But I guess if you're trying to get a guy like Quinn Hughes, you got to let go of a guy like that.
Right. It's a total win now move for Minnesota. I mean, I think that puts them in a sweet spot for 2 or 3 seasons, and good chance they'll be able to extend him. But with that, the money they paid Kaprizov, they've got to produce, right? And with Dallas and Colorado playing so elite, they had to make a big gun move. Giving up, the Hobey Baker winner, Zeev Buyum, a guy that I was super impressed through the college playoffs last year. Got to see him play at the Frozen Four, right? The guy is going to be a stud. Scored a goal, got an assist, helped Vancouver win in New Jersey right after that trade. So that's big. Marco Rossi, a guy that was a Blues killer. Not that Vancouver needs more Blues killers. Maybe we can't say it's always going to be Connor Garland and Kiefer Sherwood scoring against us. But that was another thing. And I forget the other guy.
Liam Ogren.
Liam Ogren. I can't say I've seen any of his play. But they also gave up that first round pick. So that is a big package.
They gave up. Yes. And Bill knows a thing or two about big packages, let me tell you. He shops through Amazon. That's what I'm talking about. I think overall Vancouver gave up a lot, and it's going to hamper their future. I think Buyum, how do you say his name?
Buyum.
Man, these names are just getting harder and harder tonight. Buyum, I love his game too. I think he's great, but he's not a match for Quinn Hughes. I think I lost Bill. So this apparently. Bill, I'm trying to bring you back. Give me 1 second. Oh my word.
Yeah. I think my internet just glitched. So
that's fine. Mine's been doing that apparently too. So let's go ahead and wrap her up. But anyway, real quick with this, yes, a big move for Minnesota, and I'll say I had them outside the playoffs in our predictions. I am definitely going to be wrong about that. They will be in the playoffs, possibly the 3rd seed, possibly even the 2nd. They're coming up on Dallas right now, so we'll see. But getting Quinn Hughes, that to me, I think does push them into being a playoff team. Plus, Jesper Wallstedt, I mean, he's going to come back down to earth at some point, but he is a solid goaltender.
Oh my God. My fantasy goalies right now are Jesper Wallstedt, Brandon Bussey in Carolina, who just set an NHL record, and Spencer Knight. So I've gone with the youth movement, and it's looking pretty good for me right now. So
hopefully it doesn't come crashing down on you.
It eventually will.
I once had Andrew Raycroft in my keeper league, and I thought I am a genius, and that did not work out for me.
Yeah. Was this before the trade?
This was before the trade, and then during the trade.
Yeah, not so much. So speaking of goaltending trades, last thing I'll say, Jordan Binnington, the long rumored trade to Edmonton is off because of the Tristan Jarry move. And there's some great goaltending moments in the last week. Great story in the Athletic. Like if you have any interest in, like the goaltending equipment scene, great story about how Tristan Jarry wound up in Oilers colors in his debut in Toronto for the Oilers, because usually you see it takes several games for the equipment to show up. Great story in the Athletic. Go find it, read it. If you don't have access to the Athletic, send me a message. I'll gift you an article. It's such a really good story. And then of course, the quick turnaround with the Oilers and Penguins playing within a week of the trade, and the goalies are wearing the mask for the other team. Great.
Yes, that was my favorite part.
Yeah,
like,
greatest.
I always love when that happens. Like, for some reason, that's just something that I love. When I see a goalie get traded, I'm like, oh, let it be like a week until he gets a new mask, please.
Yeah. And they actually could have had three masks for Jarry, so he wasn't wearing his Penguins mask, but Customs held up the delivery from Boston. So
not
great story
at all.
Great story. I geek out about goalie gear, so I loved reading it. The people at Vaughn basically anticipated the trade and had stuff in the works when it happened. Awesome story.
I'm trying to find the story you're talking about so I could say who wrote it, but I am not seeing it. I'll have to find it later. But yeah, I did not read it, but I did hear about it on social media, and it sounds hilarious. So definitely check that out as well. And of course, subscribe to The Athletic, because our friend Jeremy Rutherford is a great writer over there and does an excellent job. Subscribe for him, not Dom, because Dom sucks. Bill, I think that'll do it. Anything to add?
No, I've said my piece.
All right. Well,
we counted to 3.
I'm pretty sure we'll have a show at some point before Christmas. Need to figure that one out. Maybe Tuesday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe even a post-game show on Monday. I don't know. We play hockey at some point too next week, but I can't remember when it is.
Sunday night.
Oh, it's Sunday night. Okay.
That's going to be a rough one for me.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that off the air. Yeah. All right. Thanks. That'll do it. Thanks to our incredible sponsor, StrikeWithMike.com. This was episode 12 of season 15 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast. Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. Make sure to follow us on socials at LGB Radio, and follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. For Kurt Price and Bill Day, I'm Jeff Ponder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues. Stop getting injured.
Stop hurting each other. Let's go Blues.
Yeah. Damn it, Buchnevich.
TV talking St. Louis Blues hockey, moving fast, can't catch the beat, skates on fire, ice on defeat. Kurt Jeffrey Bill